This week's episode of the Good Dude Podcast is brought to you by Embrace Jiu-Jitsu, Hidden House Coffee, and Nex Gen Peptides.
I always bring my Bible with me because it's a non-negotiable for me. And you can tell a difference if you miss a day or two. Like I can tell a difference in my mindset because we're told to renew our minds daily. Do not conform to this world, back to the world thing. And I was just blown away. I'm like, why aren't we talking about this stuff more? Why is this not on billboards and on commercials and what's going on? And I think that was the thing that kind of deterred me for many, many years is we have to understand that we live on a battlefield and we can say, well, that's just not true. And I would say that's very foolish thinking is we have the world, the flesh, and the devil. And dude, those things are real. Yeah. Like the realest thing it's realer than this can right here or that cup or that phone. It is realer than the shirt on your back. And when we start seeing that, the more you dig in, he starts revealing more and more, which me just saying what I'm saying, if I would go back 10 years, be like, Eddie, shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. But I'm like, it's like, I can't help it. Mm-hmm. Like we want truth. We're a society now where we want truth.
Yeah.
We want truth, but we try to find it in a political party.
Yeah.
Or we try to find it in a music group or a movie or a magical drug or a job, right? Mm-hmm. A job that guilty. Mm-hmm. And that's not truth. Doesn't mean there's not truth in those, but you got to go to the truth, which is Jesus, and let him renew that mind so you can process what this nasty world feeds you at all times. Dude, I was driving down 405. Yeah. Driving down the 405. And there's a Skechers billboard. A Skechers. And it's Sofia Vergara, who's on Modern Family, I believe. Yeah. Modern Family. Yeah. Beautiful woman. And it's Skechers. It's shoes. And she's on the billboard with her cleavage hanging out. And that's our world. I'm not like shaming Sophia, but I'm shaming our society. It's like we do that. It's around every corner. It's around everywhere. You go into a gym, you go to the grocery store. I mean, like the things that we're wearing, the way we're talking, the way we're treating people, it is like consuming in not a good way. And that's kind of like I got to pull myself out and I choose to walk in a different way. Like what he says, that's still true yesterday, today, and will be, next Wednesday. So that's been kind of like my journey, retired out of the kind of bouncing back and forth. Yeah. Sorry about that.
No, you're good.
Retired in 2016 and started my security company and then a contingent group and then wrote the book with Keith Wood. In 2023, it came out and we're actually working on our second one now. So like the spiritual growth after like finding out that he's real and then like going all in with him, like what he will does and just like some really, to be honest with you, eye-opening, jaw-dropping experiences that I've had just by saying like just raising my hand, like I'm here for it. Like, what do you got? And realizing that this spiritual warfare thing is not just I feel bad today. Okay, there's a lot more going on than just you're feeling bad today. Yeah. Or why are my thoughts going over here? Or why am I having this thought over here? And I really started really realizing how insane that was probably about almost 4 years ago now. And I said this on the, I think the Mulligan brother, is it Mulligan or Milligan? Mulligan brothers, I believe. Is it Milligan?
I honestly don't know.
It's the Milligan brothers or Mulligan brothers, whatever one I said, make sure it's that one.
Yeah, we got you.
But they're awesome dudes. They came from England, came on over and we did like a 2-day podcasting. It was super cool.
Way.
But I told them, I was like, this is really like, I had another thought of like wanted to put a gun in my head. And like, just like, it's too much for me. Like, I hate saying this word. I can't do it. Like, I'm exhausted. Like, it's overwhelming. It's too much. The thoughts, the worry, the finances, the health, my kids, what I did, like the shaming and the guilt and all the condemnation is probably the best word for it, which comes from one place. And it ain't God. And I was like, I can't do this. So I called a buddy that was with one of our SEAL Foundations. I'm like, man, I need help. I need what are the therapies? What are my options? And sign me up for every one of them. Like, I've got to stop this. I've got to stop this. And one of them that was pitched to me was psychedelics. Is like, hey, we'll pay for you to go down to Mexico and do it. And I was like, absolutely. I'm all for it. Like, I need something. And I hung up the phone. I'll never forget this. And it was like literally within a minute, if that, you're not going to do psychedelics. And I knew that was the voice of the Lord. And I'm like, do you not that he doesn't, but I'm like, do you not see my life right now?
Yeah.
It is chaos. I'm like, I know you see differently than I do, but man, it sucks. And he told me a word that I will never forget. I'm like getting chills everywhere. He goes, trust. Like, trust me. And man, I was not trusting him, dude. I was trusting a secular world and all these things that they say work, and they might work for a little bit, but we're still not getting to the root of a problem, or we're finding all these like Band-Aid healings and not really getting to the truth of it, so I can walk through that darkness to get to the light. And not only that, but I get to train and teach the next generation. And that's what we're missing. Want to lose weight? Take a shot. You don't need good habits. You don't need to work out. You don't need to eat good. Just take the shot. You're fine. That's the world in which we live.
Yeah.
It's
Instant
just
gratification.
and perversion.
Yeah.
I mean, look at what the original cookie might have been, like some dates and nuts or something. I mean, now you got like a triple-decker diabetic cookie served up. I mean, we can see it in sex. We can see it in all kinds of things, right? Like boob implants, butt implants, dudes with steroids, like and guilty of the steroid thing. Of many things. Like we just take it to the next level, and that's just the enemy like infiltrating this worldly system. That's why we're told do not conform. Don't conform, because it is not good. And then once you see it, you're like, how
Can't
have I been?
unseen it.
You can't exactly. You can't unsee it. And you said something so good, identity, like your job.
Yeah.
And I heard something that's so true is if you are what you do and what you do is lost, who are you?
Right.
If you are what you do and what you do is lost, who are you? So I was like a Navy SEAL. I could no longer do that. I had to be this parent, and I was lost. And that led to a lot of drinking, a lot of pill popping, a lot of porn, a lot of coping mechanisms, bondage, addictions, things that I thought were normal because that's what the world says. Oh yeah, man. Like, what do you see? Almost every like movie or TV show, there's a blowout at the house. Someone's going to a bar somewhere.
Yeah.
Instead of like confronting the issue, like, hey, I'm sorry, I should not have said that. Or, hey, I did not know I was doing that. Can we hash this out? Can we talk about this? No, that's not what happens. No. Someone's calling another girl or another dude. One's going to a bar. Another one's going to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we do this on repetition. And what do our brains that are, you know, we're there's not a TV in here. That's good. that like that TV that's in the mantelpiece or the centerpiece of just about every living room across this country, just feeding you.
Yeah.
Feeding you what the world wants. And you can, a lot of pharmacy, a lot of stuff, foods, like just lust of the eyes, lust of the flesh, the pride of the life. Like, here it is, here it is. Take it in, Americans, take it in, world.
Yeah.
And then we walk in it.
Funny enough, that morning, actually the night before, I had heard a sermon on letting things become your idol, and they were saying like even your kids could become your idol if you're not careful. Like you can end up putting your kids above God, and you can end up putting your spouse above God, and you can end up messing up your priorities. And so that morning, before she delivered, I was literally in the car just praying, and I was like, hey God, like I pray that I had this like weird feeling, and I get these like when things are about to go south for some reason, but I just got this like weird feeling. I was just like, all right, Lord, I don't know what's going to happen with my kids and with this pregnancy and with life, but like I'm just going to give it to you, and I'm going to make the decision right now that I'm going to praise you no matter what the circumstances are, good or bad. I'm going to choose right now that I'm going to praise you through it, because you are the most important thing. And then 12 hours later, we're my wife's getting wheeled up, or they're finishing up surgery. I have to leave the room. I go upstairs to the NICU, and our son is in the incubator. He's got tubes shoved down his throat. They have a CPAP, so they're pressurizing his lungs. I'm not allowed to touch him. We're not allowed to hold him. And like he's got jaundice, and he's like uncomfortable. And I'm like just standing at this glass, and my wife's having a hard time with it. She's in her room breasting. She's like actually asleep, and I'm just standing there, and I'm staring into the glass, and it's like, I don't know, 2 a.m, and I'm just like, all right, well, I gotta put my money where my mouth is. And so I literally just like started singing praise and worship songs, and like some verses that I had saved on my phone. I just started reading them. And I put my hand on the glass and just started praying for him. And I literally just like was like, all right, God, like I made a promise to you 12 hours ago that I was going to do this. And now I get the opportunity to show up and actually do what I said I'm going to do. Yeah. And it was like the most surreal, awesome moment of my life in like a very weird way. To be able to like, I was hurting so bad, and like I literally couldn't do anything. Like there was absolutely nothing I could have done. I had zero control of any part of that situation, and just got to do what I said I was going to do. Long story short, 12 hours later, his lungs like miraculously started doing better. The next morning, they got the tube out of his throat. They had to put some medication in his lungs, but he took it really well. They got the tube out of his throat. He was doing good, about to come home, and then he had a cardiac episode where his heart rate sped up super fast. And we were out of the woods, and I was like, "Oh God, you're so good. This is so crazy how you taught me this awesome lesson." And then I was right back there again.
Yeah.
2 a.m. in the hospital. This time I could touch him. I was able to hold him and stuff like that. But I didn't get to hold him for like the first 3 days of his life. Like Caitlin got to hold him, I think, after 48 hours. I didn't get to hold him until the 3rd day. And dude, I sobbed. It was crazy. I was just like so happy. But anyway, he had this little cardiac episode. His heart rate spiked. We got a call at midnight. We're like literally about to go to bed. We'd just gotten home. Caitlin had gotten discharged. We were home. We were going to go pick him up the next day. We're all excited. Midnight, there you go. Hey, he's having a massive cardiac episode. His heart rate's way, way too high. We're able to get him down normally. We didn't have to push any medications. But we need to monitor him now for a couple more days. We're just like, crap. And the hospital's not close to our house. So we're doing this ping pong back and forth of going up there, coming back, going up there. I mean, we drove up and down like 3 to 4 times a day for like a week. But while we were at the hospital, I ran into somebody else who we knew that was there. And they told me that their son was going through some similar stuff. They'd been there for a month. Yeah. They had no idea that he was going to be born with a myriad of issues that he's going to deal with the rest of his life. And like really put my mindset in perspective. So not only like did I get to practice what I preached, like I'm not patting myself on the back, it wasn't easy, but I got to practice what I preached, but I also got like a gnarly perspective of like it could have been way worse. And like I'm so grateful that we're in the NICU and that things are getting better and that I have overall a healthy baby boy and we're going to figure it out. But yeah, now he's home. He's with us. He's doing great, eating great, not sleeping great, but that's kids. I was gonna ask you. I mean, you've been coaching online and now in person for a while. Like, what's some core things that you see men? We predominantly talk to men, like, but you see men struggling with nowadays.
Identity is one of the biggest things, right? Or lack thereof, right? So the world has, and this is typically, no fault of any man because it's something that's been going on for generations, right? is, I mean, the first thing that we ask each other, right? Anytime you meet a man, you get introduced, right? One of the first things you ask is, "Hey, man, what do you do?" Right? It becomes men's identities. You know,
Yeah.
that's what we've been kind of reduced to, right? So it's this whole concept of, you know what, I got to go make a bunch of money or I'm not successful. I need a good title or I'm not successful. You know, I can't show any emotion, right? I can't show any weakness. I got to be the tough guy, you know, who just buries everything and just bottles it up. And, you know, but, you know, I got to be able to just fight everybody in the bar, you know, at the same time. And that's what most men's identity has become, right? It's just this like, oh, I just got to be the strong, stoic. Well, most masculine guys' identity, anyways.
Yeah.
There's a whole other side to that too. It's out there, but you know,
They're
this
probably not
modern
listening
day
to this anyway.
masculine.
So.
What's that?
I said they're probably not listening to this anyway, so that's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah. I figure that's probably not the audience. So, but it's this, you know, this version of modern day masculinity, right? Where it's all about your job title, it's about how tough you are, it's about, you know, never showing emotions, and you know that becomes everything that we are. And that's why I think, you know, divorce rates are so insanely high. It's why the suicide rate in men, right? I mean, it's 80% of all successful suicides are men, because we just bury things. We just bottle it up. We don't talk about it because that's somehow weak, you know, or you know, you're acting like a girl if you cry, or you know, and or if you lose a job, right? It just affects our identity so much that it just takes that toll, and all of a sudden, you know, we feel like these extreme failures, or you know, we're weak. And I think that's one of the biggest things that I see, you know, and it causes so much pride in men and so much ego, that tearing those things down, getting those things out of the way, so that you know we can actually feel and express the emotions, right? Actually gain an identity, gain an understanding of who God created us to be, who we really are. You know, what it actually means to be a provider and a protector. You know, just it's not just the tough guy who makes a bunch of money. It goes well beyond that. So I mean, I think that's one of the biggest things, one of the biggest hurdles that almost every man that I've coached has had to get through, is breaking that worldview identity that we all have.
And you know, you look at, if you've ever seen, the United Nations puts out their World Happiness Report each year, and it ranks the countries based on happiness. And happiness is a misnomer. It's more along the lines of contentment. Are you satisfied on a scale of 1 to 10 with your life? Totally different question from happy.
Yeah.
Right? Are you satisfied with your life? And the 5th highest ranking country in 2024, amidst a war and having members of its population held as hostages, was Israel. The 5th happiest country in the world in the middle of a war. And then amongst 20 to 30-year-olds, which make up most of the soldiers, they were ranked 3rd or 4th. Right? It just makes no sense, but it's all depends on how you look at it. I have this picture I came across about a week ago from my wife and my trip to Morocco. And we're in the Atlas Mountains off-roading.
That's cool.
It was amazing. And we run across this shepherd, you know, with his flock of sheep and his staff, right? And he's just out there by himself. He probably has, you know, if I'm counting top and bottom, 4 or 5 teeth, right? And a smile like the one you've got right now, Jordan. And we jump out of the truck, you know, and we're just have a conversation getting translated, you know, as best as possible. This guy's satisfied with his life.
Yeah.
And coming up was one of the festivals at the time, Muslim festival, you know, where you slaughter your sheep and invite all your family and friends to have a big communal meal. Like, if I bet for many of them, the definition of satisfied is that they had enough money to get the goat or the sheep and to have the meal. They're not sitting there saying, but wait, where is my, you know, china and my crystal and my this and my that. It's just a different way to look at life.
Yeah, that perception switch is what we need a little bit more of here. I feel like if people answered honestly in America, we'd probably be towards the bottom of that report.
Yeah, I
no
think we're
one's content.
20-something.
Yeah, I feel like no one's content here.
20-something.
And but it all goes back to what we said at the very beginning of the instant gratification and this world that we're living in, that it's like there's a reason why like America has coined like keeping up with the Joneses, right? Or like it's a crazy thing. But
I don't think we focus on contentment here, though. Like, it's
no
not.
one's ever content. It's always more.
Well,
How can
yeah,
I build more?
Satisfied.
It's I mean, I feel. I mean, you should.
First time having a cup of coffee there, Ben?
Yeah, just twice.
It's not. I think it's the lid. This coffee shop
Where'd you get that
sucks.
coffee?
Dude, this place sucks.
I don't agree, but
Hidden
okay.
house.
Yeah. But yeah, I forget who said it, but it was like, if you really want to be content, like, find good friends and someone to love and raise a family, if that's, and find meaningful work and pour your life into others. And I feel like that's almost the exact contradiction of what we as Americans are like taught, where it's like, no, like you need a little bit more and you need to work a little bit harder. And then, like, I heard someone say this recently, and they're like, what's everybody's default answer? Like, how you doing? Busy. And they're like
Killing
why?
it?
Yeah. Man, I got so much going on. And we feel like that's a great answer to give people, because we don't want to like come off as like lazy or something. And I caught myself. I was like, oh, that's my default for it. Like, I'm busy, and I am. I am busy. But it's like, have you ever met the man that was like, how you doing? I'm actually great. I live a very balanced life. I'm not overly busy because I know how to value my yeses and my nos, and I know how to prioritize what's important in life. And it's like, and I was thinking about that, and I put myself in that position, and I was like, what would I say to that person when I met them and they said that back to me? To be honest, I'd be like, how do you do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's the person I want to learn from and be like.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I went for tea yesterday with one of my mentors, one of my heroes, and the guy at the restaurant, hi, and just asked my friend, how are you? His answer, I'm happy, thank you. I'm happy, right? And I'll usually answer it with something along the lines of between like amazing, something that catches people off, and that's something you can do, right? Just give an answer that is different from I'm okay, thanks, how are you, right? And maybe like listen to the answer from the other person, right? Care enough, and really just how are you is just an extension of hi, right? It has no other meaning. Hi, how are you? It's just really hi.
Yeah. I've been reading that book, dude, it's radically rocking my world. In a
What
good
book?
way. It's just I always butcher it. I'll say it.
no, I got you. Just give me like half a second.
I'll read this while you find it. But it's a psalm that is very popular. Even Coolio sang about it. But it's a good song. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. This is like a really good spot. I said it earlier, but even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. Like the even though, like I never thought of it up until recently. It's literally saying you are going to walk through crap. It's just, it doesn't matter. You're going to. And then this part, you prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Like you prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. It's not saying you're preparing a table for us 4 Christians to hang out. It's literally saying there's a table set before us in the presence of everyone that's going to hate you, torture you, torment you, spit on you, cuss you out, want what's yours, cancel you, sue you. It's in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, and my cup will overflow. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. But those switches, like when I read that in that book, I just like literally dropped, like not literally, but I'm like sitting there and I'm like, what the heck? I've read this, I've heard this, I've sang this. I've heard numerous sermons on this a million times in my life. And I never once switched those couple sentences in my mind of, you prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Like, Jesus' Last Supper was literally in the presence of two people that were going to deny and betray him. That's presence of his enemies, right? And then I'm sitting here freaking complaining about being stuck in this like place of like, why, God, why am I not here? Why am I not there? Why does John Smith have this? Why can't I have this? I've been diligent here. I've been faithful here. Why are my business still here? Like, bro, shut up. Like, you know, that switch though, the even though and the presence of my enemies like changed like everything.
Yeah.
The book was called "Don't Give the Enemy a Seat at Your Table."
That's right.
By
Don't give the enemy a seat at your
Louis
table.
Giglio.
Yeah. It's a whole book literally on Psalm 23. When I first got it, I'm not going to lie to you, I was just like, dude, he's just another Christian dude spewing crap out where he could have finished this book in like, you know, 2 chapters. And instead, here we are. I'm on page 200. I didn't learn anything.
You didn't know Louis Giglio, apparently.
No, I don't know, man. It just, I've really been trying to, I'm not trying to turn this into a me thing, but like I've really been trying to see the good in the bad. And I feel like I've just been in this wilderness, the wilderness analogy, you know, and 40 years back then could be equivalent to whatever, 10 years now. But I was talking to Devin about it the other day and I was like, dude, I feel like I've been in a wilderness the last 20 years of my life. Like there has been great parts to the wilderness, right? But overall, as a whole, I feel like I've spent the last 20 years, my entire adult life, in a wilderness. And then it leads me back to like, why? And then I sit back and I think, I'm like, well, shoot, dude, like, maybe my heart posture is wrong. Maybe I'm not who I say I am. Maybe my beliefs in all these things aren't as strong as I think they are. Maybe my heart needs to be like reformed and shaped and molded. Maybe I need to cry out more to the Lord. Maybe this, maybe that, you know? And then it just like, I'm sitting there reading a psalm that I read a million times, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like the journey's not easy, and the load and the road is going to be long. But even though I walk through crap, there's still so much goodness, and my cup is overflowing in so many areas of my life. Like the fact that we're getting to sit here with, you know, 3 of my buddies and talking about how much this means to me is overflowing like my cup, you know. The fact that I got to get up this morning and have a warm cup of coffee and read that book is my cup overflowing. And so it's like I just wanted to leave us with that because I think it's so easy to get stuck in just why, like why me, or
Dude, I was feeling that. Like this morning, I woke up to text messages about we're like not sure if we have a crew going to Nigeria, and we're not sure if they can get to where they should be because Christians are being murdered in the streets.
And then I made a bad joke to you.
And like, granted, we're here in Santa Ana, and we might. No, but like, I didn't mean to make lighthearted of a serious topic, but like the things that I was thinking about that, I was like, the things that I complain about are just so crazy to me. Like, and like, it just blows my mind. Like, we did a project where a woman literally said, deny Christ or I'm going to shoot you in the head. And she was like, I'll never deny Christ. And so they shot her, and it went through both of her eyes, left her blind. And it was like 10 years ago. But she was like, you know, if I saw my attackers today, I'd hug them. And I'd try to tell them that God loves them, and hopefully they'd listen, and one day we'd get to dance together in heaven. Wow, and I'm like, crazy. Bro, that's the kind of faith that like that just is mind blowing. And yet I'm over here complaining because I need a few extra dollars because I want some cool new toy. You know, it's it just put it all in perspective. So